Timer. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
I think that the benefits of social media outweighs the risks of social media. There are many ways Derek and I can prove that social media outweighs the risk. There are some risks to social media, but as long as people are aware of the risks and are careful to post only respectful content, then the advantages of social media far outweigh the disadvantages. And children and adults alike should be allowed to benefit from such technology. While some may be addicted to their social media networks, it is one of the best ways to stay informed.
When it comes to social media, we believe.
What'd I say?
Sorry.
It's okay. I have to reset the clock. Are you sure you only use 34 seconds of your 2 minutes? Are you okay? Okay. All right, Kayla, go ahead.
When it comes to social media, we believe that our personal privacy is completely invaded with the apps. We found that 45% of the world uses some sort of form of social media, and of that 45%, 22% have had their social media accounts fall into their own hands. You may think that we have privacy issues that can be resolved, but 22% of the world have had their social media accounts taken over. Businesses can be formed to take over social media accounts and they can gain money from stealing their information. We agree that it's important to share your information, but we disagree that we need to share our information so publicly. It has become such an issue that in 2016, 39 state bills have been targeted at this behavior, but it has failed to be passed because the government disagrees. We think that we need to be able to protect our personal privacy now.
Very good. I just want to make sure, hang on a second. I want to make sure that you guys have sound.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go back to Braden and Derek. You'll have 2 minutes to do your opening arguments. At this point, you should be giving us some valid reasons, statistics, facts, information that you have researched. 2 minutes. You may begin.
One way that we think social
No.
media.
Stop, please.
Okay.
It has to be Derek. Remember, you have to switch.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So businesses can spread their products through social media, which is a very good thing for small businesses especially. And it requires less contact, especially in our circumstances now with COVID-19. They can get to many people, like around the whole world. They can promote their products way easier because they can get to so many people, and they can do it for, I'm sure, much less of a cost. And they can also build relationships with their customers by communication through social media.
Okay. You used 1 minute. Are you finished? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay, other side. Ladies, you will have 2 minutes to do your opening arguments. It has to be Makayla.
See, we agree, but we found research on something called data scraping. It involves businesses tracking people's online activity and collecting their personal data and conversations on social media. Companies like this use the info they are harvesting to sell them to other companies and help advertise their products.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to move on to counter arguments. So at this point, you have a choice to counter their opening arguments or add more of your own information. This is not the back and forth debate. This is still one at a time, okay? Braden, it's your turn. You'll have 2 minutes for your counter or your supporting evidence. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Without social media, you lose your reputation if you're not there to communicate with them. Social media is also the cause of huge numbers of relationships around the world. You can talk to people much
You're
easier.
mumbling a little bit. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
You can talk to people much easier on social media. without having to see them in person. There are young people alive today who only exist in the first place because their parents were brought together by social media sites such as Facebook and Instagram, others. COVID-19 is an example because without social media, you might not be able to connect with others from different parts of the world. And with social media, you can talk to new people without needing their phone number. You don't just have to get their phone number, you can find them on like Instagram or Facebook. That's it.
What about Instagram or Facebook?
You do not need their phone number.
Okay. Back to Kayla. Counter arguments, 2 minutes. You may begin.
While we may agree that finding people may be easier on there, there was a story that in May 2011, the Nielsen company was taking messages off of a website called Patients Like Me, which is basically where people are struggling with like mental health or diseases, and they try to communicate through that. Businesses decide to take advantage of them and steal their messages and try to use them to advertise their products. So it just proves that you can't have personal privacy even when you think you are. There have been other cases where there's botnet attacks, which is where you're taking their personal information off of websites or Facebook and many other resources just to use them in the business's advantages. We also agree that you need to be able to find people without having to have their phone numbers because that's more personal. But once again, other people, even besides businesses, can take advantage of your resources and your personal information. Like with botnet attacks, they can go into your social media account and see who you follow and then advertise based on that. Even in 2006, there was 30 million Facebook accounts hacked in just that year to be able to use the advantages of other people, which you can't keep private.
Very good. Minute 33 seconds. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is going back and forth with back and forth counter arguments. Okay. One team can speak at a time. You have 1 minute. The other team can go. You don't have to do back and forth. It can be the same person 2 or 3 times if you have something to say. This is based on any notes you took from what the other team has said or any more information that maybe you forgot to present earlier and would like to present. Remember, whatever you say in this segment, the other team can argue and defend or rebut. Okay? All right, 1 minute each side. We're going to start with Braden and Derek. It doesn't matter who goes first. Go ahead.
You're more aware of what's going on around you when you have social media. So like, there's stories like different COVID cases. You would have no idea how many COVID cases there are without social media. Or there's like places like forest fires. You would have no idea. Or you would have an idea. You could get it from a parent, but you would know faster with social media. Social media serves as a more powerful tool for people and share their stories. And that's right.
Okay. Other side.
So we agree, but social media continues to take advantage of our devices' locations too. In fact, most people's smartphones automatically collect location data continuously, and social media apps are some of the heaviest users of this data.
And while you may think having your location broadcasted out there isn't important, businesses will be able to find you. Stalkers and thieves can be able to find you much easier through social media than just the traditional method of. But it also can be important with 911 situation.
Okay, Braden and Derek.
Okay, I think we're
You concede your
Yeah.
counter? Okay. Ladies, anything else?
Well, just like you said, how people may not think it's important, there is 80% of social media users that are concerned about advertisers and businesses accessing their data and to share it on social media platforms. And 64% that the government should do more because they feel as if they're not being protected through those social media apps like they do with other platforms.
Okay, very good. All right, now we're going to move on to our final segment, which are closing statements. You have 2 minutes. We're going to start with Braden and Derek. Go ahead.
So while there still are many risks in social media, some of the positives can outweigh them. And social media keeps getting bigger in our daily lives and keeps growing each day and is just becoming part of everyone's life. This opens up huge opportunities for a lot of people to do many different things on social media because of all the people they can reach out to. And it also gives opportunities for new people to socialize with people they might not have met if it weren't for social media. Social media opens up a lot of windows for different people in different ways, but there can also be positive sides to those opportunities.
Okay, very good. Ladies, closing statements.
Overall, social media invading your privacy is a huge issue. You might not think that this issue really affects you, but one person's social media account being hacked can affect millions of people. We can see this especially when it comes to a consulting agency called Cambridge Analytica. This firm invaded, not to mention completely exploited, the private information of over 50 million Facebook users, just to influence the 2016 American presidential election. The information that we shared with you today shows that social media can and will invade your privacy. Even if it doesn't always affect you, it affects many others almost every day.
All right, excellent work. Let's give them a round of applause. Nicely done. Stop recording. Good job, group.